In 2025, BYD sold more than 4.6 million new energy vehicles. Tesla delivered about 1.6 million. So it is tempting to tell a simple story. A Chinese EV company became the new giant by selling cheaper cars. But that story misses the most important part, because in the same year, BYD crossed more than 800 billion yuan in revenue. Its profit fell. That is the real puzzle. How can a company sell millions of electric cars, control so much of its supply chain, and still feel the pressure of the market it helped create? The answer is that BYD is not just an EV company, it is a factory system. And once you see that system, BYD starts to look less like a normal car brand and more like a machine built to turn batteries, electronics, factories, and scale into vehicles. From the outside, BYD looks easy to explain. It makes electric cars, it sells many of them in China, it is expanding overseas, and it has become one of the biggest threats to Tesla and the old global automakers. That surface story is not wrong, but it is too small. If BYD were only a car brand, the story would mostly be about design, price, dealerships, and consumer demand. But BYD is built from a different starting point. It did not begin as a glamorous car company. It began in rechargeable batteries in the 1990s, then it moved into automobiles in 2003. Over time, it expanded across electronics, new energy, cars, and even rail transit. That history matters because electric vehicles changed what the most important part of a car actually is. In a gasoline car, the engine is the center of the system. In an electric car, the battery is one of the biggest cost centers, one of the hardest engineering problems, and one of the biggest limits on how fast a company can grow. So when the car market moved toward electrification, BYD was not starting from zero, it was starting from batteries. The battery is not just a box of energy under the floor. It affects the cost of the car, it affects the range, it affects safety, it affects charging, it affects factory planning, it affects how many vehicles you can build and at what price. That is why BYD's battery background matters so much. BYD says it operates across the whole automotive battery supply chain, from mineral exploration and materials to cells, modules, packs, reuse, and recycling. That does not mean BYD controls every single input perfectly. No global manufacturer does. But it does mean BYD thinks about the car from a deeper layer than many traditional automakers. A traditional car company can design a vehicle, then buy batteries, chips, motors, and many components from suppliers. BYD tries to pull more of that system inside the company, and when a company controls more of the system, it can sometimes move faster. It can redesign a component and a vehicle platform together. It can coordinate battery packaging with body structure. It can push suppliers harder because some supplier functions are internal. It can launch more models because the underlying pieces are shared across a larger machine. This is the first key to BYD. The car is the visible product. The hidden product is coordination. Think about two ways to build an electric vehicle company. The first way is the brand model. You create a beautiful car, build a strong identity, outsource many parts, and use suppliers to help you scale. The second way is the factory system model. You build batteries, electronics, motors, platforms, factories, and supply chains together, then push many vehicles through that system. BYD is much closer to the second model. This is why the company can sell vehicles across so many price points. It has small city cars, family sedans, plug-in hybrids, premium brands, commercial vehicles, and export models. The public sees a long list of cars, but underneath that list is a manufacturing system trying to reuse technology, parts, platforms, and factory knowledge across volume. That system gives BYD a powerful advantage. If the company can lower the cost of a battery pack, improve a motor, simplify a component, or spread factory costs over millions of units, the benefit can move across a very large number of vehicles. This is how scale becomes a weapon. Every car that leaves the factory helps feed the machine. More volume can mean better purchasing power, more learning, more data, more factory utilization, and more room to lower prices. But that is also where the danger begins, because a machine this large does not like to slow down. In 2025, BYD's total revenue rose to about RMB 830.965 billion. That is an enormous number, but net profit attributable to parent shareholders fell to about RMB 32.619 billion, down from about RMB 40.254 billion the year before. That is the part many simple growth stories leave out. BYD was getting bigger, but not more profitable in the same way. Why? Because China's EV market had become brutally competitive. When many companies are fighting for the same customers, price becomes a weapon. And BYD is very good at using that weapon. Its scale, battery knowledge, and manufacturing depth give it more room than many rivals to compete on price. But price competition does not only hurt weak companies, it also compresses the profits of the strongest companies. This is the paradox of BYD. The same system that helps it push prices down also forces it to keep factories busy, keep models moving, and keep defending market share. Scale protects the company, but scale also demands volume. Once you build a giant industrial machine, you cannot treat it like a boutique brand. You have to keep feeding it orders. That is why BYD's 2025 numbers are so useful. They show both sides of the business at once. The revenue says this machine is huge. The profit decline says huge machines still face pressure. This is also why overseas expansion matters so much. BYD's annual report shows a sharp increase in overseas revenue from automobiles and related products. In 2024, that overseas auto-related revenue was about RMB 99.738 billion. In 2025, it rose to about RMB 191.349 billion. That is not just a geographic detail. It changes the economic story. China is the world's most competitive EV market. It has strong local brands, fast product cycles, aggressive pricing, and consumers who can compare many electric models at once. If BYD only fights inside that market, it can sell enormous volume and still feel margin pressure. Overseas markets give BYD a different path. They allow the company to take the machine it built in China and push it into countries where EV competition may be less intense, where its cost structure may be more powerful, and where consumers may see BYD as a new value brand. But exporting the machine is not easy. BYD has to deal with tariffs, local regulations, shipping, dealer networks, charging expectations, safety rules, political scrutiny, and brand trust. A car that is obvious in Shenzhen may need to be explained in Germany, Brazil, Thailand, Mexico, or the United Kingdom. So the global story is not simply BYD exports cars. The real story is BYD is trying to export an industrial system. This is why BYD is difficult for competitors to copy. A rival can copy a headlight shape, it can copy a large screen, it can copy a low price for a while, but copying a whole system is much harder. You need battery knowledge, you need factories, you need suppliers, you need engineers who can work across components, you need enough volume to justify the investment, you need a domestic market big enough to train the machine, you need export channels, you need the patience to build things that may not look profitable at first. This is the kind of advantage that does not appear in one single product review. It appears in the speed of launches, the range of models, the ability to pressure rivals, and the way the company can keep moving even when margins are under attack. That does not make BYD invincible. It actually creates a different kind of risk. The bigger the system becomes, the more it depends on constant demand, operational discipline, and global acceptance. If overseas markets resist, if tariffs rise, if quality problems damage trust, if price cuts go too far, or if competitors learn the same manufacturing lessons, the machine can become harder to manage. BYD's strength is not magic, it is industrial execution, and industrial execution has to be repeated every day. The biggest mistake is to treat BYD as just another Tesla rival. Tesla is part of the story because it gives viewers a familiar benchmark. Tesla built one of the most valuable car companies in history around software, batteries, manufacturing innovation, and brand power. But BYD represents a different challenge. It shows what happens when the center of gravity in the car business moves from the engine to the battery, from the dealership to the factory system, and from brand storytelling to supply chain control. That is why the global auto industry is paying attention. The old question was, who can build the most desirable car? The new question is, who can build the most efficient system behind the car? BYD's answer is clear. Control more of the parts, move faster across more models, use scale to pressure the market, then take the machine overseas. That strategy has made BYD impossible to ignore, but it has also created the next test. Can BYD turn massive scale into durable global profit? Or will the same machine that made it powerful keep forcing it into lower prices, thinner margins, and harder competition? BYD's real product is not only the car you see on the road, it is the industrial machine behind the car. The battery knowledge, the factories, the component network, the model speed, the pricing power, and the pressure to keep all of it moving. That is why BYD is so hard to ignore. And it is also why BYD's next challenge may be harder than its rise. Building the machine was one problem. Keeping it profitable while the whole world learns how to compete with it is another.